The phone vibrated on her nightstand at 12:03 a.m., one quick buzz, then another, and I watched the screen light, her face blue in the dark. Dante Fire typing, the ellipsis pulsing like a heartbeat I suddenly didn't recognize. She told me earlier that the group chat with her old coworkers always blew up after midnight, that it was just memes and bitching about sales quotas, and I'd laughed, said grown adults should be asleep. But Dante wasn't a coworker, I remembered, and the fire felt juvenile, possessive, like something you'd add so you wouldn't forget the burned. Amara's thumb hovered, then tapped a reply too fast for me to read. She angled the phone away. Same tilt she used when hiding Christmas lists from the kids. The duvet shifted. She tucked the screen against her chest, sealing the light. I rolled onto my back, stared at the ceiling fan, blades blurring into one lazy circle. The baby monitor glowed steady green. No coughs, no lost pacey. Our bedroom smelled of the lavender lotion she'd rubbed on her elbows, of the rain tapping the gutters, of the silence that now felt rented. She waited until my breathing slowed, then typed again, soft staccato. I counted seconds between vibration and stop. 43. Long enough for a conversation, not a punchline. When the screen finally darkened, she nestled against me, arm across my ribs like a seat belt. I stayed rigid, counting rotations of the fan, until she drifted off and her hand slipped away. I told myself it was nothing, the way you tell yourself the crack in the windshield won't spider until the first cold morning. But morning came colder than February had a right to be. A 5:45 the alarm chirped. She stretched, hair a wild halo, and smiled the same soft smile she'd used the day we brought Hazel home from the hospital. "Sleep good," she whispered. I grunted, pretended to search for socks while she scrolled, thumb flicking like a metronome, and the kitchen she poured coffee, still in my t-shirt, humming something tuneless. I watched her over the rim of my mug, waiting for her to mention the chat, to share a meme, to loop me into the joke. She didn't. The humming stopped when she typed, started again when she hit send. I drove to work on autopilot, windshield crack inching right to left. At red lights I tested scenarios. Maybe Dante is female, maybe it's a nickname, maybe the emoji is ironic. None felt sturdy. By lunch I'd opened our phone account 3 times, thumbs hovering over the usage tab. We'd promised transparency when Hazel was born. No secrets, no locks, but I'd never needed to test it. Click. 86 messages exchanged with Dante Fire between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. the past week. 0 in the group chat thread I recognized. I closed the browser, hands shaking, and sanded the same cabinet edge until it dipped. Ruined, too thin to hold varnish. My foreman clapped my shoulder. "Rough night." I nodded, swallowed sawdust and pride. Afternoon dragged. I texted Mara, "Pizza tonight?" 3 dots, then gone. Finally, can't. Late meeting. I stared at the screen until the pixels hurt. She hadn't mentioned a meeting this morning. I left early, picked up Hazel, made spaghetti, listened to her babble about finger painting, glanced at the clock every 60 seconds. At 8:30 Mara texted, "On way." At 9:15 she walked in, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. Meeting must have been invigorating. She kissed Hazel, then me, lips quick, cool. I smelled wine, maybe whiskey, and something metallic, adrenaline or guilt. "Long day?" "Yes." She nodded, already scrolling. The dog whined at the back door. She didn't look up after Hazel slept. We sat on opposite couches, Netflix asking if we were still there. I wasn't. Cleared my throat. "So how's the group chat?" She blinked, thumb pausing. "Fine. Same old." I waited, she added. "Why?" I shrugged, pretending casual. "Just wondered who Dante is. Saw the name pop up late." My voice sounded like someone else. Calm, curious, breakable. She laughed, one sharp note. "Dante. He's nobody. Just sales ops. You know, transfers numbers all day. Thinks he's hilarious." She turned back to the screen, conversation dismissed. The fire didn't come up. I went to bed first, lay stiff, listening to her type in the living room. The occasional soft laugh meant for someone who wasn't me. When she finally slipped under the covers, she sighed contentedly, already halfway to dreams. I stayed awake until the first birds sang, then dressed quietly, left a note. "Gone in early. Leftover pasta in fridge." I drove nowhere, just circled the neighborhood, waiting for 8 a.m. for courage, for the lie to either dissolve or harden enough to break against. At 7:45 I parked outside her office, engine idling, breath fogging windows. I told myself I was being paranoid, that marriage required trust the way lungs required air. Then Dante Fire walked out, 6-foot leather jacket, latte in each hand, heading straight to the entrance where Mara appeared, smiling the same bright grin she'd worn on our first date. She took the latte, brushed something from his sleeve, laughed. He angled his phone. She leaned close, thumb hovering, typing. Not a group. Just them. The crack in my windshield spidered all the way to the edge, that I didn't confront them, didn't want to give them the power of choosing their audience. I drove to the gym, sat in the lot, opened the phone account again, downloaded logs, screenshots blooming like bruises across my camera roll. Back home, while Hazel napped, I opened Mara's laptop. Password our anniversary still worked. Message synced. Thread Dante Fire stretched back 8 months. 4,000 messages, photos, voice notes. I read until my vision blurred. Midnight confessions, lunch break selfies, hotel confirmations, promises. I want to wake up inside your laugh. Your husband doesn't deserve the sound you make when you come. The worst weren't the graphic. They were mundane. Craving sushi, me too, let's sneak out at 3. Inside jokes about my snoring, about Hazel's slow speech, about the way I oversalt pasta. Betrayal seasoned with critique, that I closed the laptop, folded laundry, started dinner, hands functioning while mind screamed. When Mara came home, cheeks still flushed, I kissed her hello, tasted latte and collusion. After Hazel slept, I poured 2 glasses of wine, set her phone beside mine on the coffee table. She walked in, rubbing moisturizer into her palms, paused at the tableau. What's up? I hit play on the voice note I'd transferred. Her voice, I love how you ruin me, Dante, then his, only you, baby. The recording filled the room like gas. She stood frozen, cream-slick hands dripping. I didn't shout. I simply asked. Still a group chat? Her face collapsed. No anger, no defense. Just crumpled paper. She whispered my name, reached forward. I stepped back, picked up Hazel's pacifier from the rug, held it like a tiny shield. I can explain, she said, voice cracking. I waited, but explanation felt pointless. The evidence was inside my ears, under my skin. She started. Loneliness, fear of motherhood, his attention, my distraction, each sentence beginning with I. When she paused, I asked only, did you ever imagine me finding out? She nodded, tears falling. But I thought we'd be okay. Bae. The word hung like wet laundry without line. I told her she had tonight to pack, tomorrow to find somewhere else. She cried harder, promised therapy, ending it, anything. I went upstairs, laid Hazel in her crib, kissed soft curls. When I returned, Mara sat among the photos I'd printed. Her and Dante at the beach, hotel keycards, screenshots. She touched them like relics of someone else's youth. I didn't sit. I opened the door, winter air rushing in. Ruin doesn't get fixed by saying sorry to the wreckage, I said. You chose midnight. I choose dawn. She left at 1 a.m., suitcase will catching on the threshold. The house settled into silence, so complete I heard the fridge light click off. I locked up, turned her phone face down, and sat watching the baby monitor until sunrise painted the wall the color of fresh bruise, of starting over, of maybe.